everyone, welcome back to the PS Gaming Room. If you're new here, my name is Andrew and here we talk all things PlayStation. So this is my first proper video in like 12 years and you're probably wondering what I've been getting up to. Well, as always, I've been playing PlayStation. And that's what this video is about. This video is going to be my top 10 most played games on the PS5. So how did I come up with this list? Well, the PlayStation 5 has a feature where it actually tracks the number of hours that you've played during a game. If you want to see this list for yourself, head over to your profile, go down to games, and there you can see all the games that you've played. You can actually filter that by PlayStation 5 titles or PlayStation 4, and you can actually sort it by the number of hours that you spent in a game. But I'm not just going to go through a list here, I'm actually going to give you my thoughts on each game. Before we jump in, do me a huge favour. If you're liking gaming content like this, hit the like button below. Smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that notification bell. That way you won't miss out on any future uploads. It really helps the channel out a lot. Right, we're at the number 10 spot, and this is the title that put a fresh perspective on superhero gaming. I'm talking about none other than Spider-Man Miles Morales, developed by Insomniac Games. So first things first, let's get the time commitment out the way. I've poured 18 hours into this beautiful title. And you might think, 18 hours? Isn't that a bit short for a blockbuster title? Well, let me explain. Sometimes it's not about the length of the game, it's about the impact that that game has on you, and this one certainly packs a punch. If you haven't played Spider-Man Miles Morales, why should you pick it up? For me, it has to be its emotional depth and its complexity of its narrative. Miles Morales isn't just Spider-Man, he's a brother, a friend and a student, and this game masterfully weaves all those roles into its storyline, and you can't help but feel deeply connected to Miles. And for the trophy hunters in the audience, this game offers a platinum trophy that is far from torturous. It's a well-designed trophy list that actually complements the game rather than distracting you from it. I'm sure that you'll enjoy earning every single one of those shiny trophies. But let's not stop there, we've got to talk details. What elevates this title? The narrative is one thing, yet the gameplay is fluid, as you'd expect from any Spider-Man title. The web swinging feels natural, and yet the combat system is challenging yet rewarding. And as for the Platinum Trophy, well, that's just a cherry on top. No game is perfect, and as Miles Morales is a bit on the short side, it does leave you wanting a bit more. But with Spider-Man 2 just round the corner, you won't be waiting very long. Holding its ground at the number 9 spot is a game that is punishingly difficult and yet immensely rewarding. It's none other than Demon's Souls, brought to us by From Software and Bluepoint Games. Now, just like Spider-Man Miles Morales, I clocked in 18 hours in Demon's Souls. But trust me when I say those were 18 hours of intense highs and lows. Now, I have to confess, this was my first Souls-like game, but it was just like riding a bike, only the bike was on fire. And I was on fire. And everything was on fire. And as someone who was trying to navigate through this punishingly difficult realm, I won't lie to you, I followed a guide. But that didn't undermine the satisfaction and joy that I got with every victory. Every boss defeated felt like a milestone and every area cleared was a triumph. Now let's talk trophies, because this game presented a platinum trophy that was a saga in itself. Yes, it was grueling at times, but oh, the sweetness of that platinum trophy pop. So breaking it down even further, what are the hits and what are the misses? On the upside, this game offers an exquisite cocktail of challenge, strategy and triumph. The art style is sublime and the level design is complex yet engaging. The only downside, well yeah, it can get very frustrating, but even then it's the kind of frustration that compels you to keep going, to get better, to win. I want to highlight a sentiment that many Demon's Souls players can attest to. This game is not just a game. It will test your patience, your skill and resilience. And when you come out the other side victorious, indescribable. So we're slicing down this top 10 list and we've arrived at number 8. In a galaxy far, far away, we've got Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, developed by Respawn Entertainment. Alright, let's kick off with the numbers. I spent 20 hours battling stormtroopers, navigating ancient temples, and unlocking the mysteries of the Fork.
Homer, use the fork.
The Force?
The forks. Use the forks.
Oh.
Alright, the mysteries of the Force. But it was 20 quality hours and I've earned every single bit of that platinum trophy. Now, before going any further, let's add a bit of context here. The last Star Wars game that I played was Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, back on the PlayStation 1. So jumping into Fallen Order was like revisiting an old friend and realising that they'd become even cooler. What immediately struck me about this game was its captivating story. It centres around Cal Kestis, a young Jedi Padawan who survived Order 66. Although I'm not the world's biggest Star Wars fan, I was truly drawn into Cal's journey. So this goes to show, you don't have to be a die-hard fan to appreciate the depth of this standalone Star Wars story. For you trophy hunters out there, this is a voyage worth embarking on. Challenging? Yes. Rewarding? Absolutely. This platinum takes you through every nook and cranny of the game, ensuring that you get a full experience. But let's delve a little deeper. What works and what doesn't? I would say the pros are it's got an engaging storyline, a satisfying combat mechanics, and varied, beautiful environments. On the downside, the game does have a few technical hiccups, and the platforming has a lot to be desired for, but it was nothing that derailed my experience. Now then, moving on to number 7, we've got a hidden gem here that has just captured my attention. We have Death's Door, developed by Acid Nerve. So let's start with the stats. I've currently invested 20 hours into this intriguing title, and I'm only one trophy away from getting the platinum. Yes, you heard me, only one trophy. Now, bit of a backstory here. Death's Door was actually one of the free games that was gifted to us by Sony on the PlayStation Plus Essentials list last month. And quite frankly, I hadn't even heard of it until then. Well, you know what they say, listen to the crowd. Well, I was over on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it these days, and everybody was buzzing about this title. People were raving about how much this is a must play, and trust me, the hype is real. So what makes this game special and worth your time? First off, it's a top-down action-adventure game that combines elements of exploration and intense combat. And the narrative, it doesn't just serve as window dressing, it's genuinely engaging, drawing you into this peculiar yet captivating world. And for the trophy hunters in the house, let me tell you, this trophy list has been well crafted. It pushes you to explore every aspect of the game without feeling like you're endlessly grinding. I'm just a hop, skip and a jump away from that platinum trophy, and trust me, it's a satisfying chase. So what are the highs and what are the lows? On the upside, it's a well-balanced game with engrossing storytelling and intricate level design. On the downside, well, it's relatively unknown and you might miss this title in a sea of all the bigger titles. But I would say that's more of a mark on us rather than the game itself. Now, moving on to number 6 on this list, we'll be entering the mysterious and mind-bending world of Control, developed by the incredible Remedy Entertainment. First up, let's talk time. I've put a solid 25 hours into Control, and you better bet that that platinum trophy is sitting pretty in my collection. And believe me when I say that those hours flew by like they were minutes. So for full disclosure, I've got a bit of a soft spot when it comes to games from Remedy. From titles like Max Payne and Alan Wake, they have been consistently delivering unique gaming experiences. And when I say they're a top tier studio, I mean they're up there with the likes of Capcom, Santa Monica Studios, Insomniac and Naughty Dog. Yes, I think they're that good. So why should you play Control and what's the big deal? So this game takes you on a surreal journey filled with mysterious phenomena and supernatural elements. You play as Jesse Faden and your main goal is to navigate the Federal Bureau of Control, where things are definitely not what they seem. So let's talk trophies. That platinum is not just a badge, it's a journey. An exploration into the game's many nooks and crannies, and there's a reason it took 25 hours, but let me tell you, it was worth every second. But it's not just about the trophy, it's about the total experience. Well, what are the pros? Well, we've got phenomenal storytelling, awe-inspiring visuals, and mechanics that make you think twice about the nature of reality. Cons, well, I've still got to play the DLC, but at the minute, this game stands pretty flawless in my opinion. And speaking of DLC, this is a game that I fully intend to revisit. I'll be diving back into this game's extra content because let's face it, I just can't get enough. Now, moving on to number 5 spot, I've got a game here that's nothing short of jaw-dropping. I'm talking about Horizon Forbidden West, developed by Guerrilla Games. Now, let's dish out the stats. I've spent a grand total of 29 hours in this sprawling world. And yes, you guessed it, another platinum trophy to add to my collection. Okay, so what makes this game so good? Why should you dive into Horizon Forbidden West? Well, this game takes the concept of an open world action adventure game and yet elevates it to a whole new level. From the visuals to the mechanics, it's clear that a ton of love went into crafting every single pixel of this game. But what really caught me, like always, was the story. I was so captivated by Aloy's journey that I've practically got my fingers crossed for a third installment. The narrative, it isn't just good, it's compelling, and it really makes you feel like you're part of that post-apocalyptic world. This game is an absolute must-have for any PlayStation owner. If you haven't played it already, then what are you waiting for? It's a masterpiece that deserves a place in every PlayStation gamer's library. For the trophy hunters out there, the platinum trophy on this was the cherry on the top. It really rewards you for deep diving into this world without feeling like you're endlessly grinding. Every trophy feels like a milestone on an unforgettable journey. So what are the pros and are there any cons? On the pro side, this game offers spectacular visuals, a gripping storyline and immensely rewarding gameplay. And as for cons, well, I honestly can't think of any. Now, we're getting close to that number 1 spot, but before we get there, let's shine a spotlight on a game that is truly epic. We've got Ghost of Tsushima, developed by Sucker Punch Productions. First off, let's talk stats. I've sank 31 hours into this title, and just like the other ones on this list, I bagged myself a platinum trophy. Now, fun fact about this game, when it first released, I was skeptical. I wasn't really feeling it. However, the raving reviews and strong recommendations just compelled me to play it. And let me tell you, I am so glad I listened. From the moment that you step into the world of Tsushima, you're greeted with awe-inspiring visuals and an atmosphere so rich they can almost smell the cherry blossoms. Visually, it is a work of art, which makes the 31 hours spent in-game feel like an immersive tour through a beautifully crafted world. But what makes Ghost of Tsushima stand out above the rest? Well, for me, it was his deep-rooted story that kept me invested in Jin Saki's journey from start to finish. By the end, you're so involved that you can't help but hope for a sequel to extend the experience. For the trophy hunters out there, that Platinum Trophy is well worth the effort. The trophies encapsulate a variety of challenges, and it also pushes you to explore every corner of this expansive open world. So what are the pros and what are the cons, if there are any? Are there any cons on this list? For me, the pros include stunning visual storytelling, engaging combat mechanics, and a sense of true immersion in the game's world. And as for cons, yeah, I can't think of any. This game is perfect. Now, as we head into the top 3, these games are nothing short but masterpieces. Coming in at number 3 is a sequel that's done right. It's God of War Ragnarok, developed by Santa Monica Studios. Now, let's get the numbers out of the way. I poured 35 hours into this epic adventure, and you guessed it, I bagged myself that Platinum Trophy. Now, let me just put this out there. When it comes to creating groundbreaking games, Santa Monica Studios is top tier. They've took everything that was great about the first game and they've amplified it to a whole new level. And let's talk about the gameplay. Now, whether you're in combat or solving puzzles, the controls and mechanics are seamless. But the true star of the show is the narrative. This story is so emotional, intricate and compelling that it makes you forget that you're even holding a controller. If you haven't played God of War Ragnarok, you are genuinely missing out. This is not just a game, it's an experience, and it set the standard for what sequels should aspire to be. For all my trophy hunting friends out there, this Platinum is more than just a reward. It's a testament to your prowess on navigating one of the most meticulously designed worlds in gaming history. So let's sum it up. What are the pros? Exceptional storytelling, immaculate gameplay, and an atmosphere that is second to none. As for cons, well, I've got one. The game had to end. So here we are at the number 2 spot, and we've got none other than the Resident Evil 4 remake developed by Capcom. First off, the stats. 52 hours clocked in and a Platinum Trophy to show for it. And trust me, those hours, they flew by. Now, Resident Evil, it holds a special place in my gaming life. I've been a fan of the series ever since playing Resident Evil 2 on the original PlayStation 1. Now, don't get me wrong, the franchise has had its ups and its downs over the years. But with Resident Evil 4, Capcom has managed to take the original and elevate it even further. This game hits all the marks. We've got story, we've got gameplay, and those good old jump scares that we just love to hate. I've run through this game over 5 times to get that Platinum Trophy, and I can tell you that every playthrough brought something new to the table. Now, Capcom has a bit of a mixed record when it comes to these remakes. While Resident Evil 2 created a new gold standard for what remakes should be, Resident Evil 3 left a lot to be desired. However, I am pleased to say that with Resident Evil 4 they have certainly redeemed themselves by staying true to what made the original so great and added elements to modernise the experience. For my fellow trophy hunters, you're going to be sinking some serious time into this game if you want that Platinum Trophy. Multiple playthroughs, different challenges, and a variety of difficulties. It's a journey that makes a reward so sweet. Now, time to sum it up. So Capcom took a classic and made it even better, without losing the true essence of what made the original so great. And as for cons, well, I can't think of any. So before we get to that number 1 spot, I want to ask you a question. Which game do you think Capcom should remake next? Are there any Dino Crisis fans out there still holding out for a remake like I am? Sound off in the comment section below. So here we are at the number 1 spot, at the game that I've spent the most time with on my PS5. It's another game developed by Capcom. It's Resident Evil 8 Village. So first, let's talk numbers. 53 hours invested, multiple playthroughs, and a Platinum Trophy to show for it. Now honestly, when I was doing the figures for this list, I didn't think this would be number 1. But when I considered it to be 4 playthroughs to get the Platinum, plus time in the Mercenaries mode, and then I went back to it when they added PSVR 2 support, it kinda started making a whole lot of sense. As a side note, where is the trophy support for the PSVR 2 version? Capcom, we need to talk. This game is an incredible follow-up to Resident Evil 7. It adds new layers to Ethan Winter's story and Chris Redfield's. And with the new expansion pack, it actually delves further into Rose's storyline too. But I've yet to play that yet, so these 53 hours are only set to rise. However, another point to ponder is Resident Evil 4 is getting a PSVR 2 support, so demos are going to rise too. So who will reign supreme at the end of the year? Maybe that's another video in the making. So let's recap on this. A compelling sequel that stands strong on its own. We have the additional Mercenaries mode and a refreshing VR experience. The only cons that I can suggest is that there should have been trophy support for the VR experience. But yeah, even with that, it still leaves me wanting more. Well, that was my journey through my top 10 most played PS5 games. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video as much as I've enjoyed making it. If you found value in this video, do me a huge favour, hit that like button below. If you have suggestions about games that I should be investing more time into, leave them in the comment section below. And hey, if you're new here and you're watching without being subscribed, consider hitting that subscribe button below and hitting the notification bell. That way you'll never miss out on any future content. Once again, I want to thank you for joining me on this countdown. Until next time, keep those controllers warm and those trophy collections ever growing.